Hello there. So for you basic welders out there, today we're going to talk about some joint welds. We're going to talk about some different joints and different ways to weld the joints and explain a little bit of the process of the joints themselves. So the first thing I want to do is look at some things you've done in class. So I've got a couple pieces of steel right here, just to kind of show you a little bit, and then we'll actually do a couple of these joint welds so you can understand what's going on. So the ones you're used to in class are overlap weld. You did that the 6013 project and a little bit with the 6011. You might have used 7014 as well. You also did what's called a T-fillet. Looks like the letter T, in which you've actually filled in. Let me get it. So you actually filled in right in between here, and you actually filled in the T-fillet. That's some stuff you did in class. One thing you did too is a butt weld. But a butt weld, there's two different ways to do a butt weld. First way to do a butt weld is bump the two pieces of metal right up together, and then what you would do is you would take and go through and put a bead on top. The problem with a butt weld of that nature is it only sits on top of the metal itself. It doesn't really get penetrated down deep enough. When you separate the pieces out, probably like 1/8 of an inch or so, what they usually say is half the diameter of the rod. So whatever the rod diameter is, if you're using a 7018, whatever the half the diameter of the rod would be. So you're going to set it out, and then you're going to go through and you're going to fill in a bead between it. And if you've done it properly, what will happen is you'll actually see the bead on the back side of it. And that's something you've done in school, and that's something we don't need to go over too much today. But I will throw a couple of joints in together. Another thing that you would do is you do what's called an edge weld, where you might want to try to get two pieces of steel thicker, and because of that you're going to actually take the edge and you would actually take and cover the surface of the edge weld. You turn your welder up because it's a thicker piece of steel now, so you'd actually turn your welder up and give a nice good thick edge into there. Okay, so these are some basic joints to look at. Today I'm just going to show you I'll just do a simple joint. I can do an edge weld to show you that process since you've already seen the butt weld and the overlap and the T-fillet. Okay, so overlap, T-fillet, butt weld. And then today I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take and I'm going to weld these two together for an edge weld, and I'll show you that in a few minutes.